True Crimers, Partners in Crime, we are back. This is True Crime Monday, and we are talking about the case of Summer Moon, Utah Wells, and this is part 2. So again, I have to give my disclaimer that this is just my opinion, my speculation, my thoughts. These are not facts. Please form your own opinion, and this is just for entertainment purposes only. That's a lot to say. So let's get back into talking about this sweet, precious little girl who needs to be found, who needs to be brought home. There was just so much around the case. In part 1, I kind of just gave you the basic facts and the script, as I like to call it. Summer again went missing on June 15th, 2021 from the Hawkins County, Rogersville area of Tennessee. There are a lot of characters in this case. We have the neighbor, Jody Sue Brown, who kind of came in, I don't know, a little bit after the case started. She has a YouTube channel, and she will spend hours upon hours upon hours streaming. And she apparently heard a scream that day. So the police said that it was unfounded, but she said she heard it. Who knows? So that's one character. She was also married at the time to Andy Bernard. They are since divorced, and it's just not a good situation. But he's also been accused, not by the police, not by the authorities, but he's also been, accused by a lot of people of maybe having a part in this. They were, at the time, becoming heavily involved in the church, and that's where she met Robin. She was very close with Robin. Robin's also been accused. I mean, everyone that was in Summer's life at one point, I think, was accused. Now, a couple weeks into this case, her 3 brothers were removed from the home by CPS. At the time, Donald Wells, the father, said that it was because it just was becoming dangerous to be around because so many people were showing up. They had a lot of people showing up at their house. In my opinion only, that's not why they were removed. I think they were removed because they were being severely neglected. This house, and it's not about not having money. It's not about, having low income. Because you can have a nice, clean home, no matter what it looks like. It can be clean, and your kids can still be taken care of no matter how much money you have. But that's not what was happening. The house was not in good condition. As a matter of fact, her bedroom, which was in the basement, which we see in that episode of the interview room with Chris McDonough, it's like in the living room, like the area, there's what looks like kind of like a bar. And if you go around it, there's a staircase, like in the middle of the room, that goes down to the basement. On one side, it's the parents' room, and on the other side is Summer and her brother's room. Now, when I say room, I use that term lightly. There were a couple of thin mattresses, dingy looking, on the floor. I think like these like metal shelves with a few little toys. The windows are all covered. It looks like a dungeon, frankly, in my opinion, and many others. And I think when Chris McDonough went down there, he was shocked. And his very words were, "I understand Summer now," And as he went down the stairs, in the room that was the parents' room, there was something playing on the TV, like inappropriate type stuff playing on the TV just randomly. I always suspected that Donald Wells was home at the time because the interview started at the watering hole, and then Chris asked if he'd go to the house. So I think on the way they had stopped at like the dollar store, and Candace went in, and they were waiting in the car, Chris McDonough and his wife, and I think she was probably calling Dawn saying they're coming to the house, and he took off because he also had asked to go in a shed, and she didn't want him to go in that shed. So there's always been speculation that Dawn was like hiding in that shed. So I don't want to say words that I'm going to get kind of struck for, get in trouble for, but so will just say that both parents were struggling with different addictions. I hope I can say that. As a matter of fact, after a couple months into Summer going missing, Don Walls was pulled over while on a live stream on someone's panel and pulled over for driving, was arrested, and that actually led him, because he was already on probation, to doing like a year, I think, in jail during this case. And as a matter of fact, on Summer's year anniversary, he was away at the time. So yeah, that happened. And there was also a lot of history with a lot of legal issues, both of them having a past of being legally in trouble. And there was also, like, a couple months into the case, Don Wall's stepsisters came out, and they came out and they accused him of doing inappropriate things to them when they were little. That became a huge part of the case, not so much in the legal sense, but of the case in a whole, especially in the true crime community. They did actually go to the police to charge him, but I think that kind of fizzled out, maybe due to the timing. You know, such a long period of time had gone by. The reason they came out when they did is because when they heard about Summer going missing, she was the age when it had started happening to her. And I don't even know if they knew that Don Walls had a daughter until she went missing. I'm not sure 100% on that, but something along that line. And so it kind of triggered her to say something if it could help find her. Another, like, interesting stuff was, like, in the beginning, very early on, when Don Walls was doing interviews, he was already kind of giving up. They were using a lot of slipping up and using a lot of past tense talk, and which is always a red flag when parents start using past tense. And Don Walls said, you know, if we don't see her, we will at least know we'll see her in the resurrection. So he was already kind of just saying she no longer is here. But they don't know, right? And then a lot of stories came out from a whole slew of people. Like I said, it would take me a very long time to bring up every character. And we can do that if you want to go over, you know, a couple characters in this case every single week. I'm just trying to give you, like, you know, the basics. I am kind of digging in a little bit where I shouldn't, because each thing kind of deserves its own time so that you can really understand the case. So I should probably stop there. Those are the basic facts. If you have any questions, if I've left anything out, please ask me in the comments below, and I can either answer there, or if there's enough questions, I can make a whole other video. And I don't even need to wait till next Monday, of course. So let me know if there's anything you're wondering about. I'm not sure if I've done a good job at, you know, painting a picture of this case, because there's so much to it, and I know too much is the problem. But it's not a bad problem, because I can answer the questions. So that is the case of Summer Moon Utah Wells. If you do have any information on the whereabouts of Summer or what happened to her, please call 1-800 TBI FIND. And yeah, that is True Crime Monday. And we're going to continue to talk about Summer. And so let me know where you want to go with it. I am thinking maybe we can talk about a few of the characters, because they are pertinent to the case, at least in a way, you know. Maybe not to what happened to her, but in the whole story of the case. We can go into a few of the people and a few of the situations each time, because there are many years to talk about. I'm going to think on it, and then we'll get it together. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.